What's going on, YouTubers? This is Mopar Man, 1978. Got the 440 heads back from the machine shop a couple days ago for the General Lee. Good news, we don't have to find another set of heads. We found out that on these heads, right where the headers bolt up, there's a couple of these where the header bolts go into the head and the bolts go right into the water jacket. Well, evidently somebody didn't put pipe dope on the threads when they tightened the header bolts up and torqued them, so it was causing leaks. And then machine shop guy said that he was finding where there was leaks coming out around where the head bolts. I guess somebody that did the engine before kind of did a half-assed job. I noticed that when I went to take the heads off, you're supposed to hear a kink, kink, like a, because they're so torqued down so tight that you're supposed to make it with a brake bar when you go kink, and then they let loose. I didn't even hear that noise. They just had a little bit of resistance and they popped loose. These ones down here along the bottom of the heads were a lot easier to pop loose than the ones inside where the oil drains down through and into the block. But anyway, everything checked out. They hot tanked it, magnafluxed it. He shortened down the valve guide stumps. That's what I call them. I don't know what the correct term of it is, but I imagine somebody will correct me in the comment section. But anyway, got the a set of Earson Cam aftermarket Vitron valve stem seals with the metal skirts, and they got the little tiny little spring that goes around the top to keep the pressure around the valve stem. Anyway, those are all going to go on there, and that way we don't have any oil leaking down into the combustion chamber like the old crappy ones that were from the Fel-Pro, factory replacements from Fel-Pro on there. We have ARP head bolts for this to go back when they go back on. One thing I started lapping the valves today. I got these two sides done. I got to finish these two over here tomorrow. It's just too hot today, even with the shade and this fan, high velocity fan blowing on me. But I cleaned up the ports a little bit. There was some rough castings in here, and on the exhaust sides and the intake sides. I smoothed out all the sharp edges and opened them up just a little bit. The other thing I'm going to do too, he said that the gaskets, he inspected the gasket surfaces. They're completely flat, but one thing I noticed that they're really slick, and most people will just clean these surfaces, put them on, and torque them down. Well, what I like to do, and I've always had good luck with it, is these heads are going to have to be cleaned anyway, re-cleaned before I put the valves and get it all painted and all that crap. I'm going to take what I usually do, 320 or 150 grit or something that's not too harsh, not too light, and I take the orbital DA and I'll go over this entire surface until it's complete. All the gasket surface is completely dull. Clean them up, re-clean them up, blast these ports out, get them all cleaned out, wipe them out. And the same thing with the sides where the exhaust manifold / header gasket surface goes. I'll do that too. I'll do it on the intake side, because you want to make sure, because we're going to be using Permatex, Fel-Pro Permatex gaskets. We want to make sure that the gasket, even the sealing adhesive that's built into the gaskets, has a spot to anchor to. instead of possibly being slick and not really sealing and sliding around or whatever under pressure, whatnot. Anyway, I've always done that to my engines. Never had any head gasket leaks and intake leaks and that so on and so forth. Let's see what else. He says the what is it? The freeze plugs are good, but I don't trust them, since if the same people that didn't really take care of the engine before, put it together before, I'm not going to trust the freeze plugs. I'm going to take them back out, put all new ones in. A trick I found by hot rodders and known engine builders, especially in the how to rebuild and modify Slant 6's booklet or book, before you put the freeze plugs in, you come in here with like 150 grit sandpaper, clean up the surface in here real good so it's down to bare metal, wipe them out, take some the long tube of the 3M yellow weather stripping adhesive, you put it around inside here, get it gooped up around, take your freeze plug and tap it in. And then I usually let the head sit out in the sun, let them get nice and hot so the weather stripping cures. If not, you can also leave them indoors, and you can leave a fan blowing through to where the air gets through the coolant chambers inside the heads and on one side, and maybe pushes the air through. Anyway, they say there's been known cases of where when you just take a regular freeze plug, a new one, and just tap it in the same spot as the old one was and not clean it, or somebody might put RTV or silicone gasket sealant in there and then tap them in. Well, they said that under pressure, especially race applications, these freeze plugs have been known to pop out. So I've always done that to my engines, is put that yellow weather stripping adhesive by 3M in there and tap them in, let them cure for a day or two. If I'm doing it in the fall or the winter time in a garage or something like that, somebody else's garage, I'll let them sit up. Anyway, just wanted to give you a heads up on the heads that I just got to do the finishing touches, and I'll be doing more excuse me, more videos on having them installed, and then we'll get the headers on, that thing, and then finally hopefully get the vehicle up and running, and I'll do a video on letting it run, and then we'll do a video on taking it down the road. But I hope you enjoyed this video.